What if I told you that cutting your daily steps in half for just 2 weeks could cause your body to start storing fat in the worst possible place? Not your thighs, not your arms, but wrapped around your internal organs where it does the most metabolic damage. Stay with me because what you're about to hear might change how you think about those 10,000 steps. I'm Dr. Fergal Armstrong, and welcome to the first episode in our 4-part series on why your daily step count might be more important than you think. Today, we're talking about what happens to your cholesterol and fat metabolism when you stop moving. Now, here's the fascinating part. Researchers at the University of Copenhagen conducted a rather cruel experiment. Cruel in the scientific sense. They took healthy young men who were walking between 6,000 and 10,000 steps per day, nothing extraordinary, just normal daily activity, and asked them to slash that down to about 1,400 steps. That's basically from your bedroom to your kitchen, to your couch, and back again. What happened in just 2 to 3 weeks was remarkable and not in a good way. First, let's talk about triglycerides. These are the fats floating around in your bloodstream after you eat, particularly after a fatty meal. When these young men reduced their steps, their triglyceride response to a high-fat meal jumped significantly, from about 9,566 to 11,580. That's a 21% increase in just 2 weeks. Here's what this means for you. Higher postprandial triglycerides, that's the fancy term for fat levels after eating, are associated with increased cardiovascular risk. Your blood essentially becomes thicker with fat for longer periods after meals, which accelerates atherosclerosis, the buildup of plaque in your arteries. But here's where it gets really interesting from a body composition standpoint. The researchers used MRI scanning to look inside these participants' abdomens. And what they found was a 7% increase in visceral fat. That's the dangerous fat that accumulates around your internal organs in just 2 weeks, 7%. Now, you might be thinking, well, they probably just gained weight overall, right? Wrong. Their total body fat didn't change. Their BMI actually decreased slightly. What happened was a redistribution. Calories that would normally be used to maintain muscle mass with regular stepping were instead partitioned into visceral fat storage. In my decades of clinical practice, I've seen how visceral fat drives metabolic dysfunction. It's not just cosmetic. This is the fat that pumps out inflammatory molecules, interferes with insulin signaling, and contributes to fatty liver disease. And here's the kicker, you can accumulate it without any change in your bathroom scale weight. The study authors described this as attenuation of postprandial lipid metabolism. Essentially, your body becomes less efficient at clearing fat from your bloodstream after meals. It's like your metabolic machinery starts to rust when you stop using it. Now, this is part 1 of our series. Over the next 3 episodes, we'll explore how steps affect your mortality risk, your overall metabolic health, and specifically your diabetes risk. But today's message is clear. Your daily steps are doing critical work managing how your body handles dietary fat and where it stores excess calories. Here's your takeaway. Those daily steps aren't just burning calories. They're actively directing where your body stores fat and how efficiently it processes the fats that you eat. Even a couple of weeks of reduced activity can trigger unfavorable metabolic changes. If you find this useful, subscribe to MedHeads for parts 2, 3, and 4 of this series. I'm Dr. Fergal Armstrong. Keep stepping, and I'll see you in the next episode.